What's up to all my sphere? Today is the start of Mental Health Month. It's May 1st, and we are doing Throwback Thursday. So what we're going to do is just for a few minutes, go back and do something you used to do as a kid. So for me, my dad used to be an architect. And one of the things I would do is I would try to draw my dream house. This is probably gonna be a little hard for me to do while I'm talking, but I'm gonna try to do it anyway. And I would come up with different ideas and designs about how the house would look and what would go in it, what would go where, etc. And so then I'd go and show my dad the drawings about my dream house, and he'd give me feedback, things like, you might want to consider having a bathroom was one of the ones, which was probably a pretty good idea. So these don't have to be super fancy. This is going to be my dining room here in the front. And again, it's not so much getting it perfect. It is looking at ways to ensure that you have time to go back and do things you used to love as a kid. So when we grow up, oftentimes we put some of these things on hold, and we are not really living our life the same way we did as children, which is fair, right? We're gonna all run into that to some extent. But what you want to be able to do is look at things you used to love to do and see what of those things you can bring back, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today. This is just kind of really, really quick, dirty, kind of just have some fun with it, make some marks on some paper, enjoy myself a little bit, give myself a little downtime before I go back to work. So, with any of this stuff, doesn't matter what your hobby was or what your, plaything was. Maybe you had, a love of certain action figures, for example. And so if that was the case, then, look for something you can do with that. Maybe you leverage some of your kids' toys and you create a cool scene, or, come up with a storyline or an idea around that. It doesn't have to be creative, but I think a lot of times as kids, we have a lot more freedom in how we think about things, and we don't always censor ourselves so much. So I think it's worth making sure that we take a look at that and think about ways that maybe something you used to do, you used to love, is now something that you haven't touched in a while. So you can take inspiration from your kids too. I mean, there are a lot of different things that our kids do that maybe remind us of things we did in childhood. So think about what some of those things are, and, whether there is an aspect of that you can pull from, or whether you can introduce some of this stuff to your kids themselves as well. So, there could be a lot of these things that you can share with your kids, and they can have the experience of trying to do this. You might actually learn something fun about them too. So later today, I'm going to have my boys do this and see what they come up with when they look at designing their own dream house and what that might look like. So these are retractable doors. I don't know that I would necessarily get the ones that fold out like that, maybe the ones that pocket back, but regardless, not really the point of doing this thing perfectly, right? So, so maybe we have a fireplace over here, who knows? It can be anything you want. And again, it's less about what you're doing, and it's more about trying to get in touch with that aspect of yourself that has been kind of hidden for a little while. And seeing if some interesting ideas come up from that. There may be something new that you learn about yourself from doing some of these activities again after a long period of time. Maybe it's coloring in a coloring book. I mean, it could be, I used to craft what I called paper people. And I'd make these little dioramas like we used to do in school. And then I would create these little paper dolls, basically, that would become the characters in these diorama doll houses, essentially. And it was super fun to do those things. And it doesn't always have to be, doesn't always have to be perfect, doesn't always have to make sense, doesn't have to have a purpose. I think is maybe one of the keys we need to get back to. It's just the idea of play for no reason, without any necessary outcome, something that will, help you have fun and play and enjoy and just do something different. So, this is, again, this is not my best work by any means, but, and I still have to figure out where to put the bathroom, in honor to my dad. And so, it just gives you an idea of some of the things that we're trying to look at doing, right? So whether it's this or it's something else, go back to something you did in your childhood, look for ways to do it. I mean, I did this in pen, I did it with a little tiny ruler, and I did it in 7 minutes, something like that. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. Enjoy yourself and make the most of your Monday. Or sorry, what is it today? It's not even Monday. Make the most of your Thursday. It feels like a Monday. But it is the first day of May. So make the most of May and start enjoying these little tiny moments that you can give back to yourself. All right. Remember,
you are so loved. You are enough.
And you got this.